And what you are is darkness?
Ven!
Ventus, also known as Ven, is one of the main protagonists in Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. He was a Keyblade wielder before Sora ever became one, and was originally from the Age of Fairy Tales. He was transported into the future, with no memories of his original life, and apprenticed to both Xehanort and Heracles. He is the youngest of the trio formed by himself, Terra and Aqua. Ventus's heart is severely damaged by the creation of his dark counterpart, Vanitas, and then again when the Greek letter Chi blade forged from their hearts is destroyed. Both times, Sora's heart reaches out to mend Ventus's heart, and by the end of Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, Ventus's heart has gone to sleep within Sora so that it can recover until it is fully healed and ready to rejoin his body, which lies comatose but safe within the Chamber of Waking. Ventus is later woken from his slumber and returns to training with Terra and Aqua in the Land of Departure, as well as being reunited with his Chirifi. He wields the Keyblade Missing Ache in Kingdom Hearts Union X and Wayward Wind in Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep and in Kingdom Hearts 3. Like all the others, Ventus awakes as a Keyblade wielder in Daybreak Town, where he joins one of the unions under the Fortellas. While fulfilling his duties as a Keyblade wielder, Ventus finds it difficult to develop friendships due to his timid demeanor. Over time, he is inducted into the Dandelions by Ava to escape into the New World. However, he was tricked by the Darkness, who disguised Them's elf as Ava, to meet at the abandoned warehouse. When Ventus arrives, he is possessed by Darkness, who then uses Ventus to strike down Strelitza and steals her ruler book. Upon leaving, Darkness leaves Ventus and poses as Ava, telling him that he is to be a future Union leader. Subsequently, he becomes one of the 5 members of the Dandelions to be a replacement Union leader. Once the Keyblade War is over, he then meets the other members at the Keyblade Graveyard. Much more unknown to him, Ventus was also destined to carry Darkness as written in the Book of Prophecies as the destined child. That the entity used him to separate itself from the hive mind of Darkness, allowing the being to think for itself. Being called to a meeting by Brain and Ephema, they were asked who told them they were Union leaders and where he remembers it was Master Ava and did so near the clock tower. Aware that something wasn't right, he saw that Brain has the Book of Prophecies, which was meant to go to Strelitza, explaining Master Ava's actions, and inside the book is a memo of the 5 chosen to be the next Union leaders. Ventus was informed of the names on the memo are Brain, Ephema, Skald, Laurium and Strelitza, but not his, much to his own shock. Ventus was disappointed that he wasn't chosen to be a Union leader despite everyone believing his innocence. Further understanding that someone or something threw a problem into Ava's plans, the others believed that Darkness posed as her, killed Strelitza and gave Ventus her book. Then he was pushed by Brain to remember his encounter with Master Ava, clarifying that they met at a dim lighthouse, left together and talked on their way near the clock tower but couldn't remember nothing else. However, Ventus grabs his head in pain where he vaguely sees Strelitza dying, horrified that he may have done something to her, but was comforted by Brain as they planned to tell Laurium about his sister's intended role back at the clock tower. The constant strain of remembering what happened to Strelitza puts Ventus to sleep in his room. Through his dreams, he finally remembered what happened to her. Under the presence of Darkness posing as Master Ava, he was possessed by the dark influence but only took her ruler book while the Darkness killed her and left the house. Waking up afterwards, Ventus starts to cry, feeling guilt-ridden about what happened.
empty creature from Ventus Riven. To you, the name Ventus shall be given.
4 years before Terra and Aqua take their Mark of Mastery exam, Ventus served as an apprentice to Master Xehanort, as part of the elderly Keyblade Master's plans to forge the legendary Greek letter Chi blade. However, Ventus proved to be a poor candidate, and when he refused to use his darkness to fight several Nyashadao Heartless in the Keyblade graveyard, Master Xehanort finally lost patience with him and used his own Keyblade to unlock and extract the darkness from Ventus's heart, using it to form a being of pure darkness who was then named Vanitas by Master Xehanort. Unfortunately, the process left Ventus in a comatose state, with his broken heart of pure light slowly fading out. Master Xehanort, disguised in a black coat, then took Ventus to the Destiny Islands to allow him to live out his last days peacefully. Ventus was sent to the Dive to the Heart, where he came in contact with the heart of a newborn Sora. After a brief discussion, Ventus's heart connected with Sora's, halting its deterioration and allowing Ven to stay alive until he someday becomes strong enough to repair the damage by himself. Ventus then summoned a Keyblade and shot a ray of light into the sky above, much to Master Xehanort's surprise. Xehanort decided that Ventus could still be of use in his master plan, but with Ventus still too weak in comparison to Vanitas, the two boys could not be trained under him since Vanitas had a naturally strong impulse to destroy Ventus. Ven fights Vanitas at the Station of Awakening and seemingly emerges victorious. After the battle, Vanitas reveals his true intentions and explains that the unversed came from his own emotions and negativity. Trapping Ven with several floods, Vanitas merges with Ventus and takes over his body. The fusion completes Ventus, but Vanitas keeps control over the body. As a result of their union, the Greek letter Chi blade is forged. Mickey arrives on the scene and helps Aqua awaken. Together, they engage Ventus Vanitas in a battle. As this happens, Vanitas and Ventus engage in a metaphysical battle, where Vanitas tries to fully join with Ventus to complete the Greek letter Chi blade. Ven, however, refuses and chooses to defeat Vanitas and destroy the weapon, even if it means the destruction of his own heart, because of his devotion to his friends. The two engage in a decisive battle, and towards the climax, Vanitas forces a D-link on Ventus in hopes of completing their fusion. Ventus instead uses the powers the D-link grants him to destroy the Greek letter Chi blade along with Vanitas. Unfortunately, this also damages Ventus's heart and causes it to flee his body, leaving him in a comatose state. Despite being comatose, Ventus was able to summon his Keyblade and led Aqua back to the land of departure.
Terra, I kept my promise.
The Guardians of Light are subsequently separated by Xehanort when he creates the skein of severance between them. Ventus and Aqua are drawn into battle against Terra, Xehanort and Vanitas, and when Sora arrives they are able to destroy Vanitas. However, when they attempt to reach out to Terra, Xehanort uses the emotional bonds between them to create physical chains imprisoning them, and attempts to execute them with a brutal impact. Ventus sheds a tear, feeling he has failed his promise to Terra, but Terra Xehanort's shadow breaks free of its restraints and reveals itself as Terra's heart, breaking the chains on Ventus and Aqua and declaring that it will set things right. Sora then steps in to unlock Terra Xehanort's heart, in order to release Terra's heart from Xehanort's control and allow the shadow to reclaim Terra's body, restoring him. Aqua, Terra, and Ventus then share in a tearful reunion, happy to be together again for the first time in over a decade.
I remember dreaming a lot. Of you and Terra. Of Sora and his friends too, I think. And there were some more people I didn't recognize. Oh, and I saw these weird animal creatures. It's like I've been part of some big adventure.